guys, and welcome to Knit Grit, and today we're going to go over how to make a League of Legends Poro, or Poro, however, whichever way you want to say it. I think this one turned out super adorable, and I'm pretty excited with how he turned out. Next time I might try to make his horns a little bit shorter, but other than that, I'm really pleased with how he turned out. I might also try to use some fuzzy yarn, but I'll describe more about that later. Alright, let's get started. For this project, you will need 3 different colors of worsted weight yarn. I'm using Vanna's Choice for my white and my pink, and I'm using Red Heart Heather Gray for my horns. You can also use brown depending on which kind of horns you want to make. I've seen both Poros with brown and gray horns, so it all depends on what you want your Poro to look like and what colors you want to choose. You will also need polyfill, which is over there in the corner. You're gonna need 2 buttons, however big you want your eyes to look, a darning needle, which is right here, a size J crochet hook. I'm using a Susan Bates because I like how their hooks are, and some scissors to cut all of your tags and stuff. Alright, let's get started. Alright, to start your project, you're going to want to make a slip knot. I take my tail and I put it over my working yarn, basically, and then I make a little crossover loop. At which point I then put my fingers inside the crossover loop and pull it through into making a slip knot. It's a slip knot because if I pull it, it slips out. I like it, so that's quick there. And now I'm going to take my crochet hook, knitting needle. I do both, so you'll find that I often make mistakes and say my knitting needle, and it's like, wow, no, you're not doing that at all. Alright, there we go, we're all focused in. So here I will chain 2, 1, 2. For the first round, we're working in the round, so we're gonna start our foundational row right here. We're gonna put 6 single crochet on our first chain here. We're skipping the chain closest to our hook, and we're gonna go right in here and we're gonna make 1, go back into the same hole, 2, go back in the same hole, 3, we're working all in this one chain, 4, 5, and 6. And you'll notice that the hole kind of will get bigger and bigger. Don't worry, when you pull your tail, it closes it up. So tug your tail real well there, and there you are. This white on white is not the best. So here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With Amigurumi, I always work through only the first stitch here. That way, if I ever have something that I want to back post single crochet through, I'll always have those back stitches, but also I just like how much poppier it looks with my style of crocheting. So now, we have the 1 stitch here. This is our very first one that we put in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 is right here. We're gonna go into that, and for each of these 6 single crochet, we're going to go and put 2 single crochet in each of those. So we're increasing to 12. We had 6 single crochet, and now we're going up to 12. So we put 2 in our first one, so that's 2, 3, 4, now we're going to our 3rd stitch, 5, 6, and notice that there's 2 stitches inside each of these here now. If I could only find my little bowl that I keep my yarn in, then this would not just be like rolling all over the place. But I can't find it anywhere. I think I left it at a friend's, so 6, or 7, there we go. 8, I can count, really I can. Now we go into our one before our last. 9, 10, 11, 12. You can always leave stitch markers. I've done this so long that I never leave stitch markers. So this is 11, 12, and what I end up using for a stitch marker, honestly, half the time, is I'll take my tail, leave a loop, and I'll pull my tail through, but I'll leave a loop so that I can pull it out later. That way I know that's where I end. That's where the beginning and end of my rows are from. So now we're going to put 1 single crochet in the next stitch and then 2. 1, then increase, 1, then increase, 1, increase, 1, increase, 1, increase. That will get us up to 18 stitches. So I'll show you how this works. We're back, we're on a round 3 now, and you can tell we're on round 3 because that's where our stitch marker is. When you hit this mark, that means you're starting a new round. And also, I just count the entire time if you have a hard time with figuring out rounds and stuff. So 1 in that one, and now I'm going into my next stitch and do 1, go back into the same stitch, increasing 1, putting 2 stitches in that. So I did 1 single crochet and then I did 2 single crochets in here, which is what I call an increase, because I'm adding an extra in here. So that's my increased row. That's why it keeps getting bigger as we go. So 1, 1, 2 in the next one. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, put 2 single crochet in the next one. I try to only go through the front, but if you don't like how that looks and that's not your personal style, then honestly, that's just your own style. You can go through both of them if you want. We don't back post single crochet with this design. So it's all based on what your preference is and what you want it to look like. So 1, 1, 2. So I put 1 here and I put 2 there. 1, 2. And then I've got 1 and I've got 2. And that should get me, as long as I didn't miscount somewhere. But I don't think it did, because it was pretty simple and straightforward. As long as I don't lose my stitches. 2. So now, what I can do is I can actually go through that hole, take my tail out, and I'll replace it where my next stitch is beginning. That's how I do stitch markers, because I always lose stitch markers for crocheting ones, or the ones you can clip onto the stitch. So I just end up using my tail half the time, and it's really easy to just get it right out, especially when you get with later rows. Next, you're going to do 1, 1, and then you're going to increase on the third. 1, 2, all the way around. So actually right now I should have 19. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, because I had 18 from before, and now I'm on my 4th row and I just increased, so that's why I have 19. I forgot to count on my 3rd row, so that's why I wanted to count it that way. So then 1, we're now on row 4, 2, and now we increase this 3rd round. And if you have any questions on when we increase, or you're having a hard time following me as I go, I have a written pattern for this down below, linked through our Ravelry. We also have a Craftsy page where if you'd rather go on there and keep track of your stuff through there, I'm going to post it there as well. I haven't figured out how to post free patterns on Kindle. I know I can. So this is my 3rd, 1, 2, and then 3 increase, 1, 2 increase. But I want to do free patterns on Kindle. I have all my non-free ones there, but I just can't figure out how to make it so that it's free for people to download Kindle patterns. I've got a new template that I want to work out, and I would gladly publish this pattern on Kindle if I could figure out how to make it for free. So this is my 3, and then as you can see, I just increased 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and this is my 3rd, so I'm going to increase 1, 2, 3, and then this is where I stop because my increase is right above where my stitch marker is. So I'm going to take it out and put it 1 higher so that I can see where I'm going next round. And basically we're going to keep doing this where I increase 1 extra every time. So I increased every single one, every other, every 3rd. I'm going to increase every 4th, 5th, and then I'm going to increase up to every 6th. And when I get to every 6th, then I just work in the round for 10 rounds. And I'll show you how that works once I get to
What's next is we're going to single crochet around 1, no more increasing, we're done with increasing now, for 10 rounds. So we're gonna go around and around and around 10 times, totally. So, as long as I don't lose my stitch, jeez. I have such a hard time with this camera in front of me while I'm crocheting that I just end up losing it half the time. So you're just gonna do basic single crocheting until you get to the last rotation. So we're gonna go around once and then do it 9 more times. And then I'll show you how to decrease and how to make it so that this is a round ball instead of just, you know, a ghost looking thing. So, I'll see you when this is done with 10 rounds. Okay, so my camera died, so here we have crocheted our 10 rounds, and now we're gonna start doing our decreasing rounds. And the way that our decreasing rounds work is that they are basically the inverse of our increasing rounds at the beginning. So here we're going to single crochet 5, and then our 6th and our 7th stitch we're gonna single crochet 2 together, and I'm gonna show you how that works. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we're going to single crochet 1, pull through, but do not go, don't single crochet like normal. Go into your 7th single crochet, pull through, and then you pull through all 3 of them. That brings those 2 stitches together, and you're going to do that all the way around until you get back to your beginning, and that will decrease 6 stitches, and we're going to keep decreasing until we get to basically where I stuff is that when you're decreasing your 3rd and your 4th stitch and single crocheting those 2 together, that's where I typically stuff for my little amigurumi, and I'll show you what that looks like when I do that. So here I'm going to single crochet 5, decrease by single crocheting 2 together, single crochet 4, decrease 5 and 6, single crochet 3, decrease 4 and 5. Then I stuff, and I'll show you what the rest of that looks like after that. Alright, be right back. So I'm getting to the end of this row, and I'm doing my 1, and then 2, and then I single crochet with the 3rd, don't take it off, go to my 4th, and then I go through all 3. That's my decrease. So now I'm going to make a really long tail like that. Just a giant loop so that I don't like completely undo all my stitches while I'm stuffing. And let me see if I can make this at a better angle. So I'm getting a desk, so hopefully this will be better in the future when it comes to how my stuff looks. So now we start stuffing. I have a huge 10-pound box of stuffing off screen, and I honestly just start by shoving it in. I get as much as I can that just goes like this, and then I kind of start pushing it towards the sides, and I roll my hands around, and I just try to keep it as firm. Okay, all that flush. And I try to keep it as firm as I can. So now I've got a giant hole. So now I've got a giant hole here, and I just go shove, 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 while also trying to roll it. I've got a little spot for my hand here, and I roll it around, trying to keep it as so that it goes everywhere on all the edges. Try to be as consistent as you can. When you start noticing that there's a lot in there, just start putting a little bit by little bit until it's the shape that you want. So I'm going to finish stuffing, and once I finish getting the shape that I want, then we're going to go into how to finish off, which is essentially just the next round. I'm going to single crochet 1 at this point, and then decrease, and then go to every other, and then close off. Make it as plushy and circular as you can. I can't quite do that fully on camera, so I'm probably going to finish this off camera real quick. Alright, so I still have a couple of spots that I'm going to fix up once I get closer and I finish up this next round.
I always kind of just play around with it until it's completely closed. So here, if I can get into it, there we go. I'm going to go single crochet 1. I'm on my new round here, and then I'm going to single crochet the next 2 together. And then once you're done with that on this round, then basically you just single crochet 2 together until it's closed. So single crochet 2 together, get 1, single crochet 1, and then 2 together. My yarn's on the ground, so that's why you're not seeing the ball running around everywhere. Isn't it nice? 1, and then 1, 2. 1, 2. And we got 1 more. I have to check that real quick. 1, and then I'm going to decrease this one. And then you can see how that goes straight through there. So now I'm going to play around with this a little bit more, make sure that the bottom is just as equal as the top with my stuffing. See, I can still have a hole right there. I'm going to stuff that, and then I'm going to single crochet 2 together until I get to the very end, and then I slip stitch off through, basically when it gets as closed as it can be, I just slip to the stitch to the one across from where it is. So I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. So I did my last round of single crocheting every single one together, and now I'm back to the beginning. So what I'm going to want to do is here I'm going to go across, and I'm going to go into the middle here, and then I'm just going to slip stitch. And then, see how there's a hole here, I'm then going to turn my work and go back into over here, not through the bow stitch part. What are you doing? There it is. Okay, and then slip stitch through that as well, and I'm going to slip stitch 1 more just to make sure that this is all closed up, and chain. Then I cut my work. I actually have scissors this time. That is a rarity. I cut them. These are really dull scissors, so I don't even bother half the time. And then I pull through, nice and tight. Try to get it as far down with my nails as I can. The little knot chain part, and then I just sew it in. I push that into wherever I think it needs to go, and then I try to flatten that with my stitching. So I'm going to take my darning needle. Heck, I'll do it right now. I'm going to take my darning needle and get it through. There we go. And I'm going to push this right here into, not splitting a stitch there, jeez, going into the work. And then I like to go back in where I was and go like that, back into the middle, and then I'll take whatever part I think looks bumpy, and then I'll work it in. So I go like that and kind of flatten it. See what I mean? So there we go. And that's pretty flat. So I'm gonna then take this and feed it through the entire body. It hides the stitch. You're not gonna have it there anymore. It's gone. And also, because I use this as a tail, this is a tail from the very top, I'm just gonna cut this, and basically all your tails are hidden. And keep trying to, the more you play with it and the more you like roll it with your hands, the way better it's gonna look overall. And you wanna do that while you're stuffing as well. I did that all throughout my stuffing. I apologize for the abrupt jump cut. My camera stopped recording and I didn't notice that it stopped recording. So yeah, that happened. And it's really frustrating. But nothing really was pertinent that was being said. It's just a jump cut. So I'm going to now do the tongue for my little Poro. And now I'm going to do a slip knot like I did before. My tail's so short. I don't want a short tail. There we go. And I go in, tighten it, Then I do my 2 chains, 1, 2. I skip like I did on my first one, and I go into my slip knot / first chain, and I put 6 single crochet on the inside. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. And if any point you get confused about the pattern, I've got a written pattern that you can follow along with as well on Ravelry for free to print and download. Now I'm going to go back into my first single crochet like I did on my Poro head, and I'm going to put 2 in each one of these 6 single crochets. So I'm going to end up with 12 single crochets by the end of this. So 3, I count until I get to the point where it is where it should be. So this is my 4th stitch. Now I'm going into my next stitch, 5, 6. So this is the 3rd stitch of the previous round. 7, 8, 9, 10, going into the same stitch, 11, 12. So let's double check that that's what that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now I have 12 stitches. I like to pull on my tail consistently afterwards too, so that I can know that it's a nice closed hole. And next up, we're going to just single crochet 1, increase, single crochet 1, increase all the way around. So we have 12 stitches now, and we're going to increase up to 18. So 1, just single crochet that one, and then increase. 1, 2. Oh yeah, and my previous tail needs to go here, so that I can keep track of where I'm supposed to go. So 1, 2 in this one, 1, 2 in this one, 1, 2, going through the front stitch, 1, 2, and then last one, 1, and increase. So now we are done with our increases. I'm gonna double check that, jeez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. You should have 18 single crochets in this little circle. Next, you're going to single crochet around for about 1.5 inches or however long you want this to be for your tongue. I'm going to do between 4 and 5 rounds depending on what I want the length of my tongue to be for this one. I will let you know in just a moment. So single crochet around for about 1.5 inches. Be right back. So we went around for 4 rounds, which is what I was leaning towards. I just always forget whether or not it's 4 or 5, and I wasn't looking at my pattern right away. For your tongue, I chained just there. I should explain what I just did. I slip stitched into the first of my what would be my 5th round, and then I just slip stitch through both of them. I do a quick chain so that it looks smooth when I go like this, and I leave a ridiculously long tail so that I can sew it all later. And then these are so dull. It is ridiculous how dull these scissors are. I need to go to Joann's and actually get like a decent pair of scissors. And I tug, and that will be going. You can sew it once you're done. Right there. Right across the line right there for your 7th round. When you're just doing your single crochet around. Pretty much right in the center. And then you stitch that right on there and you're all done for the tongue. Now we're gonna go on to our lovely ears. If I can get this with the tail end of the skein. There we go, got it. Oh, it's all tangled. No, well, it's a little tangled, not like all tangled. So here we're gonna do something a little bit different than what we did before. Here I'm gonna do my little slip stitch. I'm gonna chain my 2, 1, 2. I'm gonna go into my first like I did previously. This time I'm only gonna put 4 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I have 4 single crochet there, pull my tail right there, and then you're going to single crochet 1, increase, single crochet 1, increase. So you're gonna end up with 6 stitches at the end of this round. So here, I'm single crocheting the 1, and then the next stitch, I'm gonna put 1, 2 into the next stitch. So the third stitch is 1, and then the fourth stitch is single crochet. If I can not lose my stitch off my hook. 1, 2. When I'm not in front of the camera, I don't lose my stitches as much as I do when I'm on camera. It's because of the angle and how my wrists are holding onto this. Well, how my elbows are like pushing into things. So we're gonna repeat that and single crochet 1, increase, single crochet 1, increase, single crochet 1, increase until you're at 9 stitches. So 1, we're on our second round now. We're gonna single crochet 1, increase, so that's 1, 2 in the same stitch, single crochet 1, 2 in the same 1, so 2, and then 1, 2. And this should leave you, I believe, at 9 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. Now we're going on to the third row, and we're going to increase every third. So 1, 2, and the third we're going to increase. So 1, increase. 1, 2, 3. This is our second one. And now 1, 2, 3. And what I like to do here is this is the end of my third row. So here I'm going to take my tail like I did before, pull it through, and from here, rows 4 through 10, we are just single crocheting around. So we're single crocheting for an inch. So do that, reach to the end, slip stitch off, and then make a second one as well. So we're making 2 horns, and this will end up being about that much longer, and so we're just gonna single crochet around these 12 stitches for basically 7 rows. So between row 4 through 10, because 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 7 rounds, you're gonna single crochet, and then you're gonna work on making a second one. Repeat this process. All right, and then you sew it on, and then I'll show you how to finish off the rest of the body. All right, be right back. Okay, so I darned on my tongue right here, right along this round here, and it's huge. And I went ahead and I stuffed very lightly on the top, and I try to bend it a little bit so they can look like little horns. And my plan is to put them on the top of the head, like so. And I also wanted to draw attention to the fact that you could use fuzzy yarn. I actually hate working with this stuff, so I will avoid it at all costs. This was from my Eevee Amigurumi, and honestly I just chained it to make it like a necklace area for my Eevee. But you could, forcibly, if you wanted to make this thing super fluffy, is use this with a worsted weight. Maybe not even have to really, yeah, I'd use a worsted weight or a sports weight white with it probably. Yeah, I probably wouldn't use a worsted weight. I'd use a sports weight white to go along with it and do the same pattern. It'd probably end up a little bit fluffier and bigger, but if you want them to look actually fluffy and like snow monstery, you could totally use like the fun fur yarn that you can find in craft stores. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna angle them like this and sew them to the top of the head, and then I'm going to attach my 2 eyes. So I'll be right back once these are sewed on, and I'll put on my finishing touches. Be right back. So once you add your eyes and you get everything sewn together, that's really all there is to it, to making Poro. He's a really easy and quick character, and again, next time I might use the fuzzy fur that you could use, that you can get from like craft stores, and try to pair that up with like a not a worsted weight that I used here, but like sports weight, and try to see if that comes out fuzzier looking. It'd be interesting to see how I would attach the horns then. Also, next time, I don't know if I would make the horns quite as long as I did. I might end up just doing it for 4 rounds of going around after you're finished with your increases. But other than that, I really like how cute the eyes are. I'm really glad that I went with bigger eyes rather than smaller eyes. They're pretty cute. That's really all there is to it. If you like this video, be sure to hit like and subscribe to our channel. We post every Sunday at least. I've been posting a lot more. I've got a giveaway currently going on, which I'll link down below. I've got review videos. I'm hopefully going to be starting a new series where we actually go all over the state of Maine and try to find really cool yarn shops and do little tours. My first one I'm going to be doing is called One Lupin, which I'm super excited about. Alright, hit like and subscribe to my channel, and until next time, guys!